Um, Today is Wednesday, May 20th, and welcome to another day of accountability and walking. I'm back at the cemetery. Just draws me back. It's such an easy walk around the cemetery. We got some good hills. It passes the time pretty fast. You don't realize you've walked for an hour or more. So we'll do that. And thanks for joining for another episode of Walk for My Life, another installment here of my walking diary. And this right over here, this way, is Rose Hill Cemetery. That's going to be a city-owned cemetery, and got the Allman Brothers Band. Most of those guys buried there, if not all, and some of the famous monuments from Dwayne Allman's little Martha, her resting place is over here. Show that at a distance. So I'm going to do Rose Hill on another day. I'm going to go back over here to Riverside Cemetery to the left and find two more plots for Find a Grave. And I'm going to see if I can make it somewhat interesting to watch and listen. We'll see how I can play that out. I've got one I'm going to look for, locate their plot, and I got some info off the death certificate online. So a lot of these older deaths, they'll have a death certificate. And so if you can see the little girl, let's see if I can zoom in. The heat is on in the south today. Let's see if I can find her on my phone. There's a little girl out there, and that is Martha. There we go, I think right there. So we'll go check that out some other day. Okay, something like that, you know. On YouTube, I don't do TikTok, so don't expect, to have any TikTok. I don't know if anybody cares or watches. Doesn't matter. In the end, I'm not a creator. I'm not a production person. I'm just a stupid 50-year-old woman that just didn't give a shit, And now I'm kind of stuck with I saw something about those folks. I'm gonna find a grave, Bozeman. Beautiful. And trying to figure out how to get a job. No education. La-dee-da. Boo-hoo. This is still part of Rose Hill, technically. And it'll go into Oak Ridge. That was the black or enslaved burials, which I had a new sentence. Well, I'll show that again when I come over to the gate. You know, when I grew up in the South, that new sentence to me of saying city-owned blacks too, you know. Like, I get that slave owners was a thing. You just imagine it just being the landowners or plantation owners, but city-owned, I'm sure state-owned. No telling. So be careful, folks, or we're going back. And we'll be owned by Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk that needs to go back to South Africa. Peter Thiel and whoever else these psychopathic motherfuckers are. So here, I wanted to walk down here and get this, if it can be seen. Edward D. Tracy Jr. Okay, he's a judge. I'm sure he did great. Alright, there you go. There's some Confederates there. Got a nice thing. Hoping to avoid a big hill initially. Ooh, let's go this way then. Yeah, y'all, heat's on in the South now. Humidity's still moderate, according to the Weather Channel. So that's somewhat good. We got that going for us, all right? I have to be grateful for something. I'm told often I'm a negative person, so I shall embrace. It's still gonna be a hill. Should have like an umbrella to shade the sun. My phone will probably give out. I did bring a bottle of water. And I put sunscreen on. Deep breath. In and out. Okay. This is Oak Ridge up in here. Let's see what this thing over here says. You got Susie Durham. Miss Susie Durham, 20 years old, 1909. Let's see what we got. Oak Ridge Cemetery. They got another one at the gate up here. So let's see. See, after the Civil War, the 3 distinct sections present in Oak Ridge today began to form. In addition to the antebellum and Civil War burials of enslaved people, a portion of Oak Ridge was sold to William Wolfe in 1879 as a burial ground for Temple Beth Israel Synagogue. Oak Ridge was also used as a pauper cemetery in the postbellum period. This section, traditionally known as Stranger's Row, was set aside for indigent and friendless who passed away in Macon. What else? They're unmarked and whatnot. Stranger's Row also includes some unmarked graves through cemetery records, though cemetery records are much more likely to contain the names of these individuals. For instance, in February of 1896, Jerry Bell, a stillborn twin, was buried, and John Henry was buried in November of the same year. And Bell was buried on December 16, 1897. All three were African American and interned in Stranger's Row. What does that mean? Despite Oak Ridge Cemetery's association with enslaved and pauper burials, the growing post-Civil War African American population in Macon did not shun the cemetery. Instead, they embraced this place as a site for remembrance of lives lost during slavery and identified with this history as their heritage. From the late 19th century through today, many of Macon's leading African American families have chosen to be buried in Oak Ridge. This section does not have any available family lots, but burials within existing family lots continue. Some notable families buried here include the Savage and Hutchings family, who still own and operate Hutchings Funeral Home, the family of Professor H.J.T. Hudson, the founder of Hudson High School, for whom the first public high school for African Americans in Macon was named. The entrepreneurial Braswell and Sheftall and Mond families, and Reverend Henry Williams, who once pastored the First Baptist Church on New Street in Macon. That was in one of my videos, the First Baptist Church on New Street. Many African American fraternal organizations also purchased lots in Oak Ridge for a small recurring fee. Members of these organizations, including the Order of Good Samaritans, the Independent Society, and Daughters of the Good Samaritan, could be buried within their organization lot in Oak Ridge. These leaders, their families, and group choose Oak Ridge as their burial place, while the burial of paupers continued in this section until the 1970s. Okay, well, and then there's the picture of the gate. Okay. Colored Mechanic Society of Macon. Okay. Good. see what this one said. Okay. Okay. Before you are the known graves of almost 1,000 people who died enslaved. Despite the enormous number of people who died in slavery in the United States, the burial sites of only a small number of the enslaved are known. Amazing. Amazing. Through the years. Y'all, just can't. Okay. There's a QR code. I don't know if you can scan it on there. There's a bird poop on it. All right. This will tell us more. Same stuff down there. That other one. Okay. It's a hot one, y'all. It is hot today. And then this is the Jewish part they were talking about. Need to find some trees. Yeah. There you go. William Wolfe Cemetery. I'm not Jewish. I don't have any bad feelings about Jewish. But it seems like the country of Israel is really not nice people. I think the kindness and ignorance of Americans have caused countries like Israel to take advantage, you know. I'm not MAGA, not supporter. Disgusting person that has rotted our society worse than ever. And yeah, people are fucking stupid. Fucking stupid to fall for ignorant shit. Just dumb lies. Allow themselves to be grifted. Allow us all to be grifted. Everything's a fucking scam. So, hope you people get what you fucking voted for. And if you didn't vote for this bullshit, then God help us all. I mean, come out here with the dead. I don't want to be dead, you know, not in that mind frame, but it is fucking peaceful. These folks aren't asking too much from me, you know. But you won't really find me in the graveyard at night. I don't really want to do graveyards at night. That's not my cup of tea there. But I do love the paranormal stuff. You know, watching the fake shows of documented stuff. A couple of people on YouTube. But legally, these cemeteries closed out. See, now I'm in Riverside. I come through that gate. This is Riverside. This is privately owned, but it's all connected. It's all one big piece of land together. All the cemeteries. But I don't know what I was saying. I'm gonna go down here in the shade. It is warm. Okay. All right, see, look, that's been almost 24 minutes. Walking around the neighborhood, I just get bored of that. And I'm sure it's not that exciting. A lot of sports fans. See, this is tough. It's hot. All right. Whew. Damn. Wow. Holy fuck. Okay. I can still talk. A little labored. There's definitely some good hills here. Something else. Find some shade for a minute. All right. Get my water. I'll show y'all something. While looking for infant bird song, make sure I was kind of in the right spot. I was looking up these other family members in the plot here, and got these two unmarked, and then four. There's two, and then those four. I'm not 100% sure if those four are with these or not, but this gentleman, it's probably hard to see because of the sun, William D. Owsley, let's see, May of 1899 to December of 1919. So it looks like he didn't even, he was 20, but I got the picture of his tombstone to put on the Find a Grave, and they had his obituary on there. And Mr. Owsley died from a gunshot wound to the abdomen. I'd share that. Mr. Owsley, sorry you had to go that way, buddy. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. This is supposed to be a public mausoleum. I don't know if it's open or not. There was some on the Find a Grave that I had a request for inside. I've been in there for the Halloween spirit stroll. You know, they let you in there and you get like refreshments. See this lovely lady again. It's Dorothy. A beautiful life gone, leaving precious memories. She's very pretty. Wow. In the early 20s, right? All right. I'm trying to get clever here also and finding these sites or these plots that are unmarked. You know, I said on their website, Riverside Cemetery, they've got majority of these plots already documented, and so I am looking for someone who's in a unmarked grave, trying to find within their plot who they're buried with that has a marker, obviously, so then I know I'm in the right area and can at least get that. I don't 100% know the right's or wrong. I'm trying to do right. So if anybody's a find a grave fanatic, you know, go with it. And there's that one, the Durbans I was looking for. They're somewhere between here and here without any markers, according to the website and the map. So I did have their family member reach out and thank me. Sorry I didn't have a plot or a stone to put down, but maybe their family can get them a stone. I don't know what people's stories are, you know. I know that death sometimes is really hard on people. I had death in my family pretty young, for me, you know, and my family, and my mom's brother, my uncle, died at 21 in 1979. I was born in 75. So that was something really difficult on my grandparents, my mother, you know, her other brother, my grandmother, you know, the story's tragic on its own. You know, he was a bad kid or whatever, rambunctious, wild kid in the 70s, and got hammered drunk and asphyxiated on vomit. The story is my granddad had to punch him out because he was beating his wife up. So a lot of guilt from them, from my grandparents. My grandmother would take me to grieving mothers meetings up at the Catholic Church and stuff. And I said my mom liked to stop at cemeteries or walk cemeteries. So, and my grandma too, not necessarily walk the cemeteries, but she would tend to them. She was a cemetery tender, everyone's plot. You know, my grandfather's family, her side of the family, a lot of folks up where they're from. So she was the cemetery tender, and I'd go with her as a kid. In the summers, I'd spend my summers with my grandparents, and so it just affects a lot of people, you know, in really hard ways. Death is death is tough, you know. I got two cousins that died young. One cousin died in a motorcycle accident, and I mean, in like 2004, and my aunt and uncle never got over it. They're both dead now. I mean, under 75. You know, like it killed them. They lost something. You know, wrong son died that day, and damn. You know, it's really hard. You know, I had a bout of pretty strong depression when I was a late teenager. A boy I knew died in a motorcycle accident. It's really hard, you know. Death is something that's hard to come to terms with. That person's no longer there, no longer here. Maybe there is an afterlife and we get to see each other, or float around and pop in and out of places and whatever. I don't know. God bless anyone who's had a hard time with death. I understand. And put a black spot in your soul. Really will. This is he's 2 hours old, poor little guy, 1930. This spot down here on the bottom of the hill, next to the interstate, lovely, is baby land. That's a lot of probably poor babies, like financially poor babies. They built this interstate in like the 60s or whatever, and you can see through there's some other stones. That's the other part of Riverside. They cut through the cemetery. Now the story goes that they didn't really have to disturb many graves, luckily. But you tell me, that's a pretty big shot there, pretty big distance, but whatever. There's another mausoleum. My great-grandparents are in a mausoleum up in Pennsylvania. Sweetest people. I was lucky to have those sets of grandparents growing up, great-grandparents growing up. You know, even being born in the 70s, they all lived pretty long. My Nana, my dad's mom, she lived to 100. She just passed in August of last year, and her birthday is June 20th. And 1925 was her birth date, and she made it to 100, bless Nana. And so she did make it. Her grandmother had made it to 105. Let's see. Whew. It's a bit warm. I'm gonna pop a spot right here with the Thompsons. I can sit with y'all for a minute. Let's see what we got. 41 minutes. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me figure out where I am, y'all. Holy shit. Hot as fuck. Yeah, let's do that. Who cares anymore? Nobody. Oh, where am I? There's that mausoleum. But really, I need to go up and over, or over right up this middle. Okay. Oh, it'll be right there. All right, guys. Hopefully it's worth the wait. parted. Okay, let's do it. Jesus, mercy. My Jesus, mercy. Our mother. Okay. That will, oop, not that one. Need this one up here. Ooh, wait, let's cut. Let's cut through here. It will be much shadier. Maybe. Maybe not. Son of a sailor. It was hard. Rosa May. Rosa. Alright, let's see. I'm even in the right spot. To be honest with you. Oh, Nelly. That is something else. Yeah. No, yeah. No. Where am I? I'm lost again. Okay. Okay. Should be right in here. Looking for Arnold. DS Arnold. Woodbine D Lot 7. Should be up in here. There they go, somewhere. Yeah, no DS had a stone. There's some babies. Evie Elizabeth. There's Miss Evelyn. Sweet things. All right. I'll do this up here. All right. Let's go up here. Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. Let's see what we got. We'll find out. Clark. Hold on. I'll get my bearings again. Sitting it down. Let's give you the sky. Now I'm facing the road. Looking for, oh, it should be right here. So I've got a DS Arnold I'm looking for, There's a Elmna Arnold. She was a white female, 9 months old, February 4th, 1930 to November 28, 1930. Her parents were William and Claude Arnold, and Mary Parker. She died of pneumonia and diphtheria at 9 months old. Small daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William C. Arnold died at a local hospital. The child received a fall about a week ago and was taken to the hospital. Pneumonia and diphtheria developed, and all efforts to save her life were in vain. So that's who I'm looking for now, and she should be in here. Woodbine. Online there was a stone for D.S. Arnold, so that's what I'm going to look for. But I wanted to give her story. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. It's hot. I'm going to fuck this phone up too bad. That's all I got. So, okay. I'll find her. Y'all take care. Thank you. Bye.